Hey, welcome to Instant Gratification. This is episode 17.5, if you will, bonus episode. We were talking, well, first off, if you haven't seen the show before, this is not a regular episode. Go and watch episode 17 first. We discussed The Missing, really interesting Ron Howard film with Tommy Lee Jones and Cate Blanchett, a bunch of other people. But Val Kilmer's in it, and it brought up this discussion of who were ordering the Batman in order. And so with me, as always, is Geektacular over here. Bruce, I'm pointing the wrong way. Bruce.
What's up?
And so the reason I wanted to come on and do a quick little bonus episode was I think we all agree on the crappiest ones, but it's the best ones that are the issue. And the first thing you asked me before we started doing the bonus episode was whether or not, what do you do with Adam West? And my thought is Adam West, you can't compare Adam West with everybody else. It was a different thing.
Now, you and I both are intimately familiar with the Batman movie from the 60s. Because we
Sometimes you just can't get rid of a bomb. That's right.
Yes. The shark repellent. Yes.
Shark repellent bat spray and the demoleculizer, whatever it was, the dehydrator.
Yes, that turns you into dust.
And turns them all into different colored sand. Yes. I think you have to look at it as a completely different thing. I don't think you can compare them. So I don't even include Adam West in my list.
Okay, that's fair.
Wholly separate.
Also,
okay.
before we make our lists,
Yeah.
I also wanted to remind you, I didn't bring it up during the missing discussion, but Tommy Lee Jones, also Batman alum.
Yeah, see, that's the kind of role that I don't like to remember Tommy Lee Jones in.
Two-Face.
No, see, that's awful.
He was in Batman.
He was awful as Two-Face. Two-Face has not been done right yet.
Was he in Batman? Was that Batman Forever or Batman?
That was
Forever?
Batman Forever. That Val Kilmer's movie.
Yeah.
So there you go. They were together again. But I don't feel like Two-Face has been done right in any film so far, and hopefully they'll leave him alone now.
Okay.
Oh, and Aaron Eckhart, also in The Missing, was also Two-Face.
Really?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's weird. What the hell's going on?
And this is all about duality, you know, like two sides of the same coin in this movie too. Holy crap! The whole movie's about Two-Face. Anyway.
Oh, this is getting creepy.
All right. Anyway, so we both agreed that the crappiest Batman was George Clooney.
Yes. Did not leave a good impression.
The next for me is Val Kilmer. How about you?
Yes. I think it's 1 and 2 who we might.
It's 1 and 2, and it's really a toss-up. So
I don't think
talking
it's a
about,
toss-up. Whoa.
Whoa. Christian Bale versus Michael Keaton.
Christian Bale versus Michael Keaton. That's how I like to say his name.
Okay, yeah, you can say it like that. That's fine.
Bale.
All right, so who's your number one?
Keats.
Oh, why do we
Keats.
agree? Why do we agree? I wanted to argue with you so bad.
I don't. I mean, Christian Bale's not bad.
I think we broke Skype there for a second, just by the way. I just saw everything freeze. But
Keats.
yeah, I mean, it's...
Okay.
We can talk about which movies were better. That's a different discussion. But I think that as Batman, Michael Keaton was the better Batman.
I think it has to do with possibly your age, maybe, because that movie came out when I was like 10 or 8 or something. I don't know when it came out, but it came out when I was like fairly little, but old enough to like go to movies and like them and like superheroes and stuff. So I grew up with Michael Keaton being the Batman for many years in my formative youth. So I think just like when I think about Batman, I just like think Michael Keaton. Like that's what Bruce Wayne looks like to me in my mind.
Well, I think you also have to think about what kind of Batman you gravitate towards too, because Christian Bale is definitely like the Batman who's good at everything. And certainly that, if you read a lot of Batman comics, there's the Batman that's good at everything, but then there's also the idea of Batman as a guy a guy, a human being with a really singular focus. And that is what propels him beyond any sort of special abilities or super martial arts or even the gadgets. I mean, all of that is ancillary to the fact that the reason he does what he does is because he believes that he can do, that someone needs to do it.
Right.
And I thought that was better portrayed by Michael Keaton than by Christian Bale.
Yeah, Christian Bale's more, I don't know. Michael Keaton's Bruce Wayne, I find him to be more, he has more, like, humorous parts. Like, I feel like his personality is more dynamic than Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne personality. I feel like sometimes he's kind of funny.
There isn't really a Bruce Wayne personality, like a Bruce Wayne in the current films.
Right, yeah, he's become more of like, he used to be Bruce Wayne, but now he's like Batman. And like,
right.
That's it. But there's a lot, like you said, there's a lot more sort of duality in the Michael Keaton one, because in a lot of the scenes in those first two movies, Batman and Batman Returns, there's a lot of scenes where he's like normal Bruce Wayne at like parties and interacting with,
and he's actually trying to live that life.
Right.
But again, he's a guy. He's a human being, albeit a really rich human being. But it's not a guy who has access to tons of military gadgets and super secret martial arts he learned at a school up on a mountain. I mean, he goes through a whole lot of stuff that nobody else goes through. Whereas, yes, Mike Keaton's Bruce Wayne is rich for sure and has lots of stuff to work with for sure, but he's not all that much superior to the people that he fights.
Right.
Not really. And really that is a difference, because I mean, even in The Dark Knight, which I love, by the way, I mean, I think that's a great movie. The reason that the Joker is a reasonable foe for him is because he can't wrap his mind around, he can't get into his head.
Right.
Batman can't get into the Joker's head. So he doesn't understand how to proceed. And I think that's a problem in the first Batman movie too, where, Bruce Wayne doesn't really get him either, but it's a different kind of thing. They seem more evenly matched in a way.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't know. I think the way that the movies were made obviously has a lot to do with how you perceive each of the Batmen. Also, like I don't know if it's necessary.
And they're all different. I mean, they're surely all different. Yeah.
And because the first two movies that Michael Keaton is in, those are much more like, they have more of like a comic book vibe to them.
Yeah.
Whereas the newer ones kind of have more of like an action film sort of vibe.
Right. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, for sure. They're much darker.
Right.
Darker in a different way,
Right.
but yeah, they're certainly darker.
So that, like, even when you're just watching it, the feeling of it's a little bit different. And I guess I kind of perceive Batman as being a little bit more of the first kind of like guy who has to juggle his multiple, personalities and stuff, and not necessarily just the guy who is determined to kick everybody's ass 24/7.
I think that maybe one part of it is that definitely in The Dark Knight, Batman Begins not so much, but definitely in The Dark Knight, I think the characters that you kind of get into more are the villains. Like, they seem, not that they're related to us, but that there's a part of ourselves that we see in the villains.
Right.
And we don't really connect to Batman. Whereas definitely in Batman and Batman Returns, the villains in some ways are dressing. I mean, they're I think, compelling in different ways, especially Jack Nicholson's Joker. Again, not in the same way as Heath Ledger's Joker, but different. But anyway, I think that Batman is the character you relate to in Batman and Batman Returns. Whereas in this current set that are going on, I don't feel like you really get into the character of Batman.
Yeah, that's kind of true, actually. Yeah, it's kind of just like a totally different sort of vibe. So I think I'm betting maybe that people who weren't around like when the first Batman movies came out in the 90s, but people
Yeah.
who were seeing like Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and that's kind of, I mean, maybe they've seen the other ones, but this is sort of like their, sort of how they see Batman these days. Maybe they
Well,
might like him, Christian Bale more.
yeah, sort of like kids who start out watching the prequel Star Wars films.
Yes, yes. So like, yeah. So I mean, they might, that might fit their idea of what Batman should be. So they think that Christian Bale, plays a better Batman because he's, a bit more edgier and things like that. And in comparison, if you see those first, then you go back and watch Michael Keaton's Batman movies, it's probably pretty tame. In
Oh, very
comparison,
tame.
in all aspects, probably.
Yeah.
So
Well, oh, for sure. And I mean, the Tim Burton sort of props and things like that give it a very different feel than the Chris Nolan stuff. Just, it's hard for me to think of two directors who do such different styles, kind of tackling the same subject matter. But for us, anyway, Michael Keaton plays the best Batman. Now I want somebody to make a fan film where they pit Michael Keaton's Batman against Heath Ledger's Joker. I think that would be really interesting.
that would be tough. That would take a lot of splicing, but I could see
It
it.
would take a lot of splicing, yes.
I could see it. We'll see.
Yeah.
It will inspire somebody.
Hopefully. Okay, well, that's all for this bonus episode of Instant Gratification. Please feel free to watch our other episodes, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, all of that good stuff. And keep on the Twitter, because one of us will choose another movie to watch this week, and hopefully we'll give you enough time to watch it too. We'd love for you to all want to watch the movies with us and then hear our reviews and tell us how we're wrong. Like, for example, if we happen to say that The Missing was like Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman, please send us comments. Email info@Geektacular.TV and tell Bruce why he's wrong.
Also, feel free to tell Nathan why he's wrong, because it totally is.
Since Bruce is the only one who checks info@Geektacular.TV, go right ahead. Go right ahead. Inundate him. All right. Thanks, everyone. We're out.